Okay. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. It is me and Arknolia for this episode, unless YR gets wind of this later on and decides to join in. Welcome to another edition of Music Maniacs with your course, me, Dr. Earl W. Brown, and Arknolia Strokebean. And like I stated, we're trying to get YR onto the call, to talk about this particular subject, which is electronic music. Now, I sent Ark on his Gmail a couple of links, some electronic music from the 1930s up until, actually we're going back to the 30s all the way to the present day. And since a lot of music today is mostly electronically enhanced, as they say, in terms of the auto-tune, the drum machines, the samplers, and everything else there. And we're going to be taking a look at the many different forms of this music, ranging from techno, trance, industrial, experimental, avant-garde. We'll be taking a look at composers like Jean-Michel Jarre, Edgar Froese, the late Klaus Schulze. We'll look at some of his electronic pieces there. But let me begin with a little snippet of something that I sent Ark not too long ago. And this is from the 1930s. It is Prelude from Rachmaninoff. How's it spelled? Rachmaninoff.
Oh, Rachmaninoff.
Rachmaninoff. Okay, thank you.
Rachmaninoff.
Rachmaninoff. Okay. So, I sent Ark this link right here. I'd like to play a little bit for you. A little snippet for you guys. And you can tell it's from the 1930s because of the quality of the sound there. But that's basically electronic. Yep. Now, I was surprised to know about this when I was looking up different forms of this music. And I also discovered by chance an album from George Harrison. They came out in 1969 called Electronic Sound. It came out on this label called Zapple Records, which basically was an offshoot of Apple Records. And this label was to present avant-garde music. Not only did it present George Harrison's project, Electronic Sound, as I mentioned, but also put out John Lennon and Yoko Ono's Unfinished Music, Volumes 1 and 2. Two versions, and Life with the Lions, which were both very avant-garde, similar, which is very different to what John was doing with the Beatles. I'm going to play a little bit of George Harrison's Electronic Sound album right now. Check this out, everybody. That's not it. Give me a couple of minutes here. We got to go through a stupid ad. Not something you expect from the same guy who wrote My Sweet Lord. That is something there. But then again, for what I understand of what I read as well, that this was Harrison's kind of his attempt at doing his own avant-garde stuff to what John and his new bride Yoko Ono was doing in terms of the Life with the Lions album, as I mentioned, as well as two versions. Now, later on in the 1960s, there will also be an electronic piece called Popcorn that was a big hit. That reached the top 40 there. I forgot the name of it. Hot Butter? That's the name of the artist who did it? Nah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You may remember that song. I've only heard it a couple times in the past there. But it was a big hit in the commercial realms there. Of course, later on in the 70s, we had artists like Tangerine Dream, Klaus Schulze. We had a lot of experimental artists like Mike Oldfield, who was not really that electronic, but he basically was mostly he was a multi-instrumentalist. You may remember Dave Rose on our show talking about one of his albums, Ami Dawn, being regarded as his favorite. I got into Tangerine Dream unexpectedly when I saw the album cover for the album Rubicon. I was thinking, wow, this is an interesting album here. I wonder if the music is just as interesting. And you know what? It sure heck was. That was my first ever Tangerine Dream release that I picked up from that record store. Years later on, I would pick up accidentally from the City Club in Detroit a pre-recorded cassette featuring Jean-Michel Jarre, live from Houston, 1986, as well as Atom by Tangerine Dream, which I did a review on my channel a couple years ago. And I was just blown away by the sound and the structure of the Atom album. Now, I also listened to Jean-Michel Jarre, his album Houston. Well, I guess I forgot what Eco Sa Houston. I forgot it was. Remember, I don't speak French, so I don't know. But it was a live recording recorded in the city of Houston, where the city itself was transformed into a concert stage. And from what I understand, this was kind of like a homage to the crew of the Challenger shuttle that exploded months earlier. This is kind of like a tribute to that crew there, for what I understand. If it wasn't, correct me in the comments below. Well, actually, correct me in the chat here. Also, we got to acknowledge Klaus Schulze, who used to be a member of Tangerine Dream. His album Ehrlich didn't feature any electronics. It featured rewired amplifier, an organ played through that, some guitar, and an orchestra to boot into 3 movements. Badass record. I discovered it accidentally back in 2012 when I was living with my girlfriend at the time. I was like, wow, I was blown away by the first movement of this album. The first movement, E-B-E-N-E, I guess it's Ebe or something like that, means plain, as in desert plain. The second movement was Gitwitter, which means thunderstorm. And the third one was the one that's the real basic talk of the album, Excel Sans Maria, which, by the way, is backwards. And the story behind that piece was that when Schultz recorded the piece, it arrived at the record plant and the mixing board, tails out. So the company, not knowing which from which, they decided mix it as is. Now when Schultz got a test pressing of the album, he listened to it to see how it sounded and everything. He noticed that the piece was backwards. He informed his record label, said, hey, the piece is backwards, but leave it like that because it actually sounds better. And you know what? I cannot disagree on that. It is a very interesting album to listen to. Still one of my favorites that I like to play at nighttime there. Later on, he would get a synthesizer to do albums like Cyborg, Black Dance, Dune, the soundtrack to a movie called Body Love. I guess it's a softcore movie in terms of, if you know what what I'm talking about, you know what I'm, if you ever watched any of those kind of movies, you'll know what I'm talking about there. But either way, Schultze, who sadly passed away who sadly passed away last year in April, he left a lots of body to his work there. So much credit to Schultz for doing that. Rest in peace, sir. I would have loved to check his set out live sometimes. I would love to, but unfortunately I won't be able to. And let's also not forget he did a stint with Lisa Gerard from Dead Can Dance on a couple projects there. All right, so definitely want to give him some credit. And of course, Edgar Froese, who also passed from us in January 2015. He had a solo career just as well. He released some albums, like Aqua being one of them that I enjoyed listening to. And let's not forget the contribution to all the movie soundtracks that Tangerine Dream has done throughout the years, like Flashpoint, Risky Business. The piece Love on a Real Train still remains a popular favorite. We cannot forget the soundtrack to Sorcerer, Legend, Miracle Mile. They did a lot of soundtracks, and much credit to them. And of course, one of their former members, Peter Ballman, he had a solo release entitled Repeat, Repeat, which was mostly techno pop. I remember hearing the title cut from that album years ago on the old MTV. And we also got to include some of the 80s techno pop from then. Human League, Heaven 17, this duo called Naked Eyes. We know their song. It's a cover of Always Something There to Remind Me, which is still played on the radio today. The group Soft Cell, with their cover version of Tainted Love, still gets played along with the Naked Eyes song to this very day, believe it or not. And there's multiple amount of covers of that tune, including the likes of Marilyn Manson to boot. I remember a band called Detroit Energy Asylum doing their live version of that song, a more hard rockin' version. We also got to include some of the electronics that was featured in other artists' music, like Meatloaf. He had a song called, I forgot the name of it, but it was from an album called Blind Before I Stop from 1986 there. And we also cannot forget some of the 80s techno, a lot of techno pop groups, like we got to throw this group, Depeche Mode, who are going on tour pretty soon there. Unfortunately, it's just singer David Gahan and keyboardist Martin Gore. Andy Fletcher passed away a couple years back. And Alan Wilder, who had his other electronic project, Recoil, he left years before that, back in 1997. But Depeche Mode are going on tour as a duo now, with a bunch of backup musicians to boot. Now, of course, we got to go into the 90s, where the industrial scene was really fledging. Now, industrial music went back to the 1970s with the Test Department, Throbbing Gristle. We cannot forget that band from Germany. I think it's called Estesign Neubauten, which means collapsing new buildings in German. They took the term industrial to a whole new level. Not just with keyboards, drums, or anything, or bass guitar. They brought in machinery. They brought in Black & Deckers, sheets of metal. They brought in stones. They brought in rocks for effects. I remember seeing them play live at St. Andrews Hall in 1993 in May of that year, and it was a very impressive show. The only problem is that people on the right side of the venue couldn't hear that well because the speaker blew out. Wouldn't you believe it? Or not? Damn. Huh. Now, let's not forget also the industrial acts like Nine Inch Nails, who really made it big back in 94 with the Downward Spiral. They hit it back years before with the Purity Hate Machine album, with those hit songs we know for that record. Heck, we know that record like the back of our hand. Had like a Hole, Sin, Ring Finger, The Only Time, Kinda I Want To. We got to throw in Al Jorgensen of Ministry. He had many industrial projects at that time as well on the Wax Trax record label based out of Chi-Town, like Palehead, PTP. He had this other, he had this other project called 1000 Hobo DJs which featured some songs from the that was supposed to be one of his Ministry albums, but didn't make the cut. They also had a hit with a Black Sabbath cover called Supernaut. I'm sure that everybody in that genre of goth industrial knows that song left and right. That song still gets played today at the clubs when people need to do their own little mosh pitting there. And we also got to throw in a loop of credit to bands like Meat Beat Manifesto for fusing a little bit of hip hop into industrial. Storm the Studio, 99%, Subliminal Sandwich, Satyricon, one of my favorites from them. Badass of a record there. Great song to play when the sun is going down, when you're driving around the Clinton Township area back in Michigan. I did that a lot of times. Storm the Studio from '89, classic album to me. And the story behind that album was that their first album, titled Armed Audio Warfare, was set to be released, but somehow a fire caught in their headquarters/studio. Some of the tapes were saved, and I guess the guy behind the project, Jack Dangers, decided to re-record some of the songs, but give it new titles, and to make each piece into 3 parts, like God Old Day parts 1 through 4, for example. Now, you also got to get into the more aggressive industrial, like Suicide Commando, VV Nation, who often at times interpreted, Christian sayings and philosophies into their music a lot of times. So basically, it's Christian music for the industrial crowd with the heavy piercings in their nose and their earlobes and shit there. And also, let's not forget, Combi Christ, Icon of Coil, many other acts like 16 Volt. And let's not forget the times where metal bands were fusing industrial together. You remember Chem Lab, the band I just mentioned, 16 Volt. And all that is credited to Ministry for their album, The Land of Rape and Honey, which was drum machines, samplers, guitars, raging guitars, and screaming vocals. Songs like Stigmata, The Title Cut, and a few others are still played at clubs today. The second record they did after that was, actually not the second record, the third album to be exact. The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste. That was an even bigger hit with the songs like So What, Burning Inside, Thieves. And anybody who's ever saw a Ministry show back in the day, be prepared. It was a mosh pit you would never believe. One other time when I was up front row at when they played the Motor City Coliseum on Woodward Avenue, my sternum almost got crushed being up against the barrier there, up on front. Wow, man. But, what you won't do for rock and roll, if it's to say. Let's also not forget, all the trance and dance music that came out of there. Now, trance is kind of like a form of dance music, but in the trancey kind of mode, where it kind of like puts you in like a state of mind, I guess you could say there. We had artists like Amir Van Buren, who did his remix of Van Halen's Jump. We also had Paul Van Dyke with his stuff there, a song called White Lies, featured one of the Pussycat Dolls. I think her name is Jessica something there. Sutter? Yes, Jessica Sutter. That's a gal's name. I remember hearing that one time before. And we also cannot forget Yanni in the New Age form. Other artists like Yanni and, of course, this experimental ones like Jean-Michel Jarre, they also followed suit just as well there. Tangerine Dream had an album titled The Turn of the Tides, which he recorded with basically Edgar Froese with his son Jerome.
Dr. Brown.
Hey, there you are, man.
Go real quick. There's a ton of drama going on the RP channel, but we're taking care of some stuff over there. That's where I am. but we do need you to come over when you're done with this episode.
All right, there.
Please.
All right, sir. So what's going on over there?
Yeah,
Is
just go on the RP channel on the StreamYard link in the chat, and whenever this is finished, I'm gonna give a shout out to Paul Oakenford. I want to give a shout out to dubstep. I love the dubstep genre in the mid 2000s. It came out. It was really popular, rather.
Skrillex, I got to give him credit. He was the big wig in that genre.
Brusco. There's a lot, man.
All right, there, absolutely.
There's a lot on the other thing, and will you be about 30, 45 minutes here, or
probably? Well, let's see. It's about a half hour now. Probably about another 30 minutes. I'll jump shit. I'll probably keep the stream going there for a while there to see what's going on. Okay. All right.
You got to get on the StreamYard and Minnesota Vikings. He's recorded the whole show yesterday. And
oh my gosh, him again! You know what? He just started using StreamYards for his show. He did that with his cousin and Redneck.
Wow.
Yeah, he did. So he's copying RP.
All right, brother. I'll see you there.
All right, I'll see you there, guys. All right.
Thank you, guys.
All right, there. My boy YR there. All right, so I throw out my bits. You care to throw out some of your own there?
Well, according to Wikipedia, the Monkees in a song called Daily Nightly were the first ones to use the Moog as an
instrument
in a rock and roll song.
Yes, I remember hearing that song one time, and that was featured on the album called Pisces, Aquarius, and Jones Limited. Capricorn and Jones Limited.
Right.
And that was towards the end of one of their episodes when they got started dressing all psychedelic.
It was featured in 2 episodes, and it's black and white. Mickey Dolenz plays the synthesizer, and basically does it as fills with what he called a spacey UFO sounds.
Yes.
That's pretty accurate.
You know what? And by the way, the Moog synthesizer that was used on the George Harrison album that I mentioned earlier, that will be later used on a couple of tracks on the Abbey Road album as well. Maxwell's Silver Hammer, as well as a couple. I think it was just that track there that synthesizer was used. If I'm correct there.
Is the Mellotron considered
electronic? Well, yeah. I know it runs on power. That's for sure there. But
I don't think it's considered electronic, though. I think it's just loops.
Well, actually, what the Mellotron is, it's basically a keyboarded instrument, whereas you're able to get the sounds of a violin, a cello, a couple of other orchestrated sounds, and that lasts about 8 seconds, so I understand.
Yeah.
I saw a demonstration on it performed by one of the guys of this band called England. And they hold the note down. It'll last about 8 seconds, so it just ends. Period.
Yeah, the Moody Blues use the Mellotron extensively.
Oh, absolutely. Mike Pinder, or Pinder, whichever his name is pronounced, he gives tons of credit for making that instrument his. They use a lot on songs like Nights of White Satin, How Is It We Are Here, many of their songs, Question, Tuesday Afternoon. He used that instrument massively. So definitely Mellotron deserves a lot of nod. Let's not forget Tangerine Dream as well. And Klaus Schulze. On the second track on his album Cyborg features a Mellotron, but it has a kind of effect that was used on an old guitars back then.
Then you got Keith Emerson, both with the Nice and Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Oh yeah, I remember there was this talk that in his house or whichever he had more computers than the IBM warehouse because he needed them to translate all the works of Beethoven, Bach, Chopin, a lot of those works there. And we also cannot forget the switched on Bach albums that came out in the 60s. These were the works of Johann Sebastian Bach played on the Moog synthesizer.
By Walter, later known as Wendy Carlos.
Yes, one of them. all the talk about transgender had failed to mention this individual. This individual did the compositions for A Clockwork Orange, The Shining, a few other movies as well. And definitely, Mr. or Mrs. Carlos definitely deserves a nod for the contributions that he or she contributed to the movie soundtrack business there. Definitely so.
Then you got Rick Wakeman with Yes, other people, and solo. Six Wives of Henry VIII, which is a fantastic album.
Mm-hmm.
And Journey to the Center of the Earth, his interpretation of that with a choir and an orchestra.
And the narrator. So I remember hearing that album over this gal's house that I was seeing at the time back in Michigan in the early 2000s. I picked that album up out of curiosity at a used record store. I figured, the graphics inside the little booklet is interesting. I should probably listen to the music as well, since I, at the time, was getting way into prog stuff, like early Genesis, King Crimson, of course. Well, I got into King Crimson years before that, but I was getting into other things as well.
Well, there's some more electronics, King Crimson.
King Crimson, yep.
They used a lot of their electronics, especially if they Dream Blue with a guitar.
Oh, yeah, guitar synthesizers. Definitely got to include that. It's a guitar that's able to make your guitar sound like a synthesizer. And bands like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest would later use that on a couple of their albums in 1986. Priest had Turbo. Maiden had Somewhere in Time, which featured synthesized guitars. You know what? And Iron Maiden, much credit to them. They made it work for them just as well as Priest. I guess they carried it on for the next record, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, on the title cut there. Now, Priest, I don't know if they'd continue to use the guitar synthesizer on future albums. I'm not too sure. But the one that stand out on that topic had to be, of course, Turbo. Of course, this was the back at the time when Priest started dressing like Marvel's The Avengers, when you look at it there.
Then there was a group called Angels with their keyboardist later went solo. He was highly electronic.
Greg Scherfia.
Yep.
Yes, he would later form the band Scherfia and later House of Lords. I guess now he is a businessman who resides in Las Vegas, where Mars Mirror lives. Of course, we cannot forget the real bigwigs of techno, which we got to discuss as well. Kraftwerk.
Oh, yeah.
Kraftwerk. Audubon, Trans Europe Express, the Man Machine, Autobahn, Computer World, that's one of the big albums. Electric Cafe, songs like Tour de France, Numbers, Pocket Calculator. Those remain essential to that. In fact, that whole album remains essential today when you look at it there. Yeah. We got to throw in Georgia Moroder, his song I Feel Love with Donna Summer. That was electronic.
You mentioned Jean-Michel Jarre. Mm-hmm. My personal favorite by him was Oxygen.
Yeah, that's the big one from him there. And that's probably, in fact, I believe there's a couple sequels to that album that came out. Oxygen number 2 or number 3 just as well, if I'm correct.
I believe so.
Yeah, definitely got to check him out there because
the Oxygen was 6 parts anyway.
Okay, parts. Yeah, I see what you're talking about there.
But I do think there were 2 follow-ups.
All right, there. I think I remember hearing about that years ago. There, I should probably look them up sometime soon. Now,
when you mentioned Michael Oldfield, of course, everybody knows Tubular Bells.
Yep.
And the other one you mentioned was Omadon.
Yeah.
And there was a third one, Hurgist Ridge. And they're slightly reminiscent of Tubular Bells, but there's definite differences.
I see. Oh, we also got to mention, we got to touch up on techno music, which basically is, it's basically the basically it's the punk rock of dance music, needless to say, as according to some journalists. We have techno artists like Richie Houghton, who goes under the name Plastic Man, Concept One, Paul Oakenford, Paul Van Dyke, I meant to say, my bad. As I mentioned as well, they're highly respected techno artists and DJs. Chris Liebing, who had his album Burn Slow a year or two ago. Speedy J, one of my favorites. A couple albums he put out, like a G Spot, A Dangerous Hobby, which is good stuff there. And my personal favorite from him, Public Energy #1. I heard it playing on the at a local record store one time. I was like, what's the name of this album? Speedy J, Public Energy #1, I'll take it. And I still got it right then and there. Interesting. That's the purpose of artists having their albums played at record stores, originally how it started there.
I've done that a few times.
Yeah, I did the same thing with the Rat album, Invasion to Your Privacy. I had one of the record stores play snippets of that album for me. I was like, I'll definitely take the cassette. That's for shizzle. Still one of my favorites today. In fact, when I go back to the castle, I'll probably be cranking that up on the way there and back. And also, we also got to, now, going back to techno music, we also got to mention, I think we also other artists, like I'll say Nita Kravitz, who's a female techno artist. What's her name? I forgot her name, but Paula something there. Paula Temple, that's her name.
What about Jan Hammer?
That's right. Oh, yeah. He did albums with Jeff Beck. He did albums with Neil Sean of Journey. And he also had the theme from Miami Vice. He also had Crockett's theme. He also had an album called Escape from Television. I guess so, which basically was his way of saying to himself, I'm going to be accepted for my work, not just what I did with Miami Vice. Because people will do that numerous times. And the funny thing about this guy, according to Neil Sean himself, this guy does not sit down when he plays his keyboards. And he's one of the big guys who play what they call a keyboard that's played like a guitar. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He was one of the big pioneers in doing that.
Edgar Winter played one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. And credit to Edgar Winter as well. He did some electronic stuff there. Frankenstein, absolutely. In fact, it fits to say that some of the prog recordings from Tangerine Dream and Klaus Schulze may have been one of the bases for techno music. Listen to the bass line of the Rubicon Part 1. Do 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 do. All you need now is a kick drum beat to it, and then it'll be all set. Let's not forget For Barry Graves by Klaus Schulze. I remember hearing that track at one point. It's like, wow, this is more techno than techno I'd expected to be.
If you really want to have some fun, look up Edgar Winter's Frankenstein live.
Oh, yeah, that's what I heard. That's when the electronics really boom out, along with the solos on the drums there, if I'm correct.
Right, he plays the drums, sax, and keyboard guitar, or whatever you call it. It's got a name, but I don't know what
I think it's called the keytar, if I'm correct. I remember that was being told about that long time ago. In fact, let me look it up right now while we're on the subject, because that was popular amongst the keyboard players. In fact, let me see here. Let's see here.
Well, guys like Wakeman and Keith Emerson usually had an array of keyboards. They didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Emerson played the keytar a couple of times, but
wow,
he had, like tons of them.
Yeah.
He had an old organ that he used to play and stab with his daggers and things.
Yes, I remember that was done to keep the note going while he fiddled with the other keys.
Yeah.
Let's not forget some of the electronics. What's that piece that scored? What's that piece on the brain salad surgery? that Carl Palmer used, or the drum solo, that piece, the drum synthesizers?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
what the...
I'm not too sure what the name, but you know what? It sounded
Wooden
really
Tank.
Wooden Tank, yes. Oh,
No, Wooden Tank.
Wooden Tank. Oh, electronic drums. That was played a lot throughout the 1980s. It's still used a lot in the during industrial bands like VV Nation on their live shows. That's got to be mentioned there as well there. Yeah, it's called the keytar. Keytar. All right? That's what it is called there. And we got a list. Let's see here. The list of the keytarists, right here, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let me look at the artists who play these. We mentioned one of the guys from the Marilyn Manson band, Madonna Wayne Gacy. He played one of them. Of course, Jan Hammer is mentioned as well. It's made by Roland Company. It's very interesting stuff there, which is cool there. Now, going on to the electronic stuff today, a lot of electronics have been used a lot, enhancing vocals, the auto-tune. A lot of electronics has been used to restore, the sounds of old recordings, noting their remastering.
I guess in a sense, Frampton's talk box is a form of electronics.
Something like that, yeah, I guess you would say there. If you wanted to put it that way.
Because he definitely redoes the vocals through that. That's a vocal trick.
Yeah, exactly there. In fact, a guitar player named Jade Scott from the Oriental Spas, Scott Santos, that's his real name. Shout out to him, who also lives in Vegas. He used one on some of the recordings that he did with his old band. Look for the album Street Lines. The beginning of the song. Look for the song When the River Runs Dry. That's a good track there. In fact, I'm still trying to find that damn album online to download, but it's nowhere in sight. But then again, it was a local album, so what do I know?
You're hard to find then.
Yeah, I know. Very hard to find that stuff there. Now we also got to talk about the electronics, the avant-garde. I mean, there's a bass synthesizer that was used by Bill Laswell on a piece he did called Black Dangers. It's kind of like good stuff there to listen to when you're walking home from some park or somewhere at nighttime there. It kind of gives you a feel of a police with their bloodhounds looking for an escaped convict out in the swamps. That's the feel I get from that piece there. And we also got to give it up, possibly to, basically we should probably give it up to all the electronic artists out there for paving the way for what we have nowadays. But the only thing I requested for the artists and fans of these artists of the modern eras, look to the past to see how the present was brought before us. Because, the past is probably, we learn from our past, and we carry on to the future from what we learned in the past, And by the way, we also got to acknowledge a couple of things here as well. We acknowledge the guy behind the Moog synthesizer, Robert Moog, rest in peace. I'm not too sure what year he passed on, but he was a big contributor to the electronic spectrum. I mean, the Moog was probably one of the most popular synthesizers that have been out there for ages there, and inspired companies like Roland, other companies to come out with their own keyboards just as well, including the keytar, as mentioned just now a while ago. And of course, we got to give it up to.
I guess Rod Argent did a little bit of electronics on Argent.
His other band, Argent, that's well there. And Ron Argent, he deserves credit for being a good keyboard player just as well. His solo on the Argent track, Hold Your Head Up, he did a pretty good job on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
they did something called The Coming of Kohoutek, Infinite Wanderer. Well, it's 3 parts, but it's definitely mostly synthesizer thing.
All right there. All right there.
About 6 to 8 minutes long, but a lot of fun.
I see there. I just downloaded an album from Speedy J and Chris Liebing. They work together. They're good buddies, and they do festivals together under the name Collabs 3000. They even did an album together called Mentalism, which I highly recommend checking out. It's a pretty good album, definitely for sure. In fact, some of the techno stuff that I've heard a lot of times, inspired me to do some of my techno sets here on my channel. I uploaded number 70, techno set number 70, over the past weekend there. And by the way, for anybody who's interested, if I'm going to be coming up with a new one, I'm going to give it a break once in a while there, because there are other musical pieces I want to work on. I want to work on another dub piece and possibly another dark soundscape piece. Got to looking for the sources to complete a new one there. But I think that'll be it for our discussion electronic music, I guess, if I'm correct there, unless you got some other mentions you want to mention.
Well, I suppose, but I know there's no way we named them all, but
I know
that's impossible anyway.
Oh yeah, because the list goes on and on and on and on. And there are artists out there, but you know what? Out of definitely got to look up some of these recordings from the 1930s that I played a little bit for you there, because they're pretty interesting to listen to. Definitely. Oh, let's not forget the electronics that dark ambient acts and experimental artists like Julian H. Mulder. He has his own YouTube channel, which he uploads his material on, which is pretty good, easy listening music there, including fragments, including The Wheel of Paralysis, including The Void. He uploaded some good stuff there. Transitions 1 through 10. Definitely got to check that out, Ark, when you get the chance. Definitely go to his channel. You'll find all his good stuff there. I highly recommend him. You also got to look at Dark Ambient, which is done through computers there. Lustmord. Mick Harris's Low, which, by the way, has a new album out last year called That Space Somewhere. That's on Cold Spring Records. I've listened to tracks from that album. Pretty good listening to. All right, so I guess that'll be... this concludes our focus on the electronic music spectrum. Sorry YR couldn't be here, but like he said, he had some things going on with Jacob RP. So I'll let you go, Ark. I'm going to go see YR and RP and see what the heck is going on over there.
Alrighty, then we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, what are we doing tomorrow, by the way?
Well, I think we were discussing comedy movies, but I'm open to anything.
We can do that. Yeah, definitely. That's one subject. I know we discussed the comedy artists on the music show, but we definitely did not touch comedy movies. We got a lot to go to, that's for sure there. Definitely do so.
Ton of them.
Tons of them. Good. I guess YR came up with the idea, so credit him for that.
Yeah, that was YR's idea.
Yeah, let's definitely do that tomorrow night. Movie Madness comes back tomorrow night with a look at all the comedy movies that are out there. Good, bad, and the classic and cult favorites. Definitely got to do that. Same time, same station,
okay.
7 p.m. Okay, Ark, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to visit YR and RP and see what the heck's going on over there. Give you a couple minutes there. And I'll see you later on,
okay.
all right? All right, bye-bye.
Alrighty.
Okay. That call is done. Okay, I'm going to join in on RP's program there. Give it a couple minutes here, folks. Because like I stated, this computer is kind of slow whenever I use the OBS for recording or live streaming. Alright. I should probably find some royalty-free music here to put on here for a couple minutes here. Let me get some... I'm gonna put on one of my sets on there. Give me a couple minutes here. And no, I don't want to do any YouTube premium, folks. Give me a couple minutes there. Alright, here we go. I'm gonna play this. Okay. Couple minutes, folks. Okay, I'm going to end this here. I'm going to go to StreamYard with the Jacob RP, see what's going on. Give it a couple of minutes here, folks. Okay. What the heck is going on here, dude? Alright. I don't know why StreamYard is taking too long to get going here. Okay. Give it a couple of minutes. I'll try to do so. See what we got here.
Dr. LeBron, did you unzip yourself from your cocoon?
What are you talking about, Mike? A cocoon, Dan. All right, so what's going on?
It's not.
So what's going on? So what's going on with
what we Americans call a sleeping bag, your vampires call it a cocoon.
Oh gosh. All right, so what's going on with Minnesota Vikings?
Okay,
fan
so
this
you
time?
you told me that he stole the StreamYard gimmick from RP, basically. So obviously that's a jealousy thing or whatever.
Yep, obviously. He had his cousin's Minnesota Super Bowl hunter. He had Redneck on. They were all shooting shit here and there.
I mean, the same old stuff. Like, he keeps on recording the stream live and then, like, talking shit and stuff. Yeah, when he thinks he's not fucking invited here or something,
Mm-hmm.
he gets all pissed off and goes live over RP. Takes RP's numbers.
Yeah, I know. Or tries to. Well, I will say
But I
it's
don't
a
know,
lot
the
better.
guy's always going to be crappy.
I know. All I can really say is that he needs to get help ASAP there. That's all I gotta say. So...
Dead Brown, what do you think about what do you think about Joe Cronin with his whole belt thing? Do you think it's over? It's like it's overhyped, overrated type deal? Do you like support the belt? Do you support what Joe is doing this to get these sandwiches and everything?
Well, no, I'm surprised he still had to monetize his championship because they haven't watched the show in so long there. So I know Jacob spoke about winning that belt not too long ago. I'm surprised it's still functioning, to be honest. But to be honest with you, I think Ken's belt, the FMM belt, looks a lot better than Joe's.
RP. RP, did you want to ask Brown about his the clicking sound?
So, Dr. Brown, every time you speak, apparently, whenever you finish a sentence, you go.
That's because I had massive dental work done in October of last year. And, I'm still trying to learn how to talk right like I used to. But unfortunately, it's going to take a long, long time. Remember, I'm a work in progress in times. And you also got to remember, I am a horrible creature of habit. Hence the word there that I use a lot of times in my vlogs and programs and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to really say
the
about
dare program.
it. The dare are there, anywhere, elsewhere. You remember I called that that one live show that I did with you and I and Keith at one time there.
Well, Geddy Lee's on the call, and he is a massive Rush fan.
Yeah, I know. So where's Geddy? What's up, man? Is he unmute?
What up?
Hey, up. Everything going okay, man?
Yes.
That's good.
Just sick there, you know.
Oh, sick. Oh, flu, cold.
Mild fever.
I see there.
But I'm still rocking it here. You know.
All right, there. Well, just drink lots of fluids and take your medications.
Of course.
Yeah, that's good to hear. We just got done doing the Music Maniacs with me and Ark. We were looking at electronic music. We were mentioning a lot of artists out there. We just got done, and I'm over here.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm. We were looking at Tangerine Dream. Go ahead.
Dr. Brown, do you feel like there's jealousy with Minnesota Vikings with RP right now? I think it's that because RP never been nothing but nice to Minnesota, to be honest.
You try to be, but it's hard to be a nice guy that's that angry, that resentful, that has hostility filled up. He's got a lot of hostility backed up inside of him, and we don't know what caused it. I mean, no matter how many times, we try to give him a leverage, try to, put things to his head, he won't listen. You may remember the time when me, Ken, we're trying to explain to him that nobody's looking for him. The feds are not after him. When the police drive by, that they're not interested in hauling him into jail, thinking that the government's going to come in through the door and rape him from behind. We try to explain that shit's not going to happen. He just won't listen.
Yeah, you fucking drinking tonight?
No,
Are you
I'm
in
not.
a tunnel, bro?
No, I haven't drank anything. Not at all. But you see, the point is that you try to get
Dr. Brown. Are you inside a piece of a macaroni and cheese?
no.
Dr. Brown is trapped inside a piece of a corn kernel.
No. But
Dr. Brown, you're going in and
Speeds-
out. You're going in and out, brother.
I don't know why.
Why?
Actually, the music that's in the background is going in and out. But speaking of corn kernels, it fits to say that Minnesota Vikings fan has the ball side of one.
What?
I said Minnesota Vikings
Someone
has.
please clip that. I gotta
Mini-
clip that. Hold on, I'll be right back. I gotta clip that. Corn kernel.
What Minnesota Vikings fan has the balls the size of a corn kernel?
Jeez.
That's funny.
It is funny.
Who the fuck is that?
Sounds like a Stream Shaft. Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing, RP? Trying to figure that shit out?
Yeah.
It's going to take a while.
But it's not looking good. I don't know, man. I'm getting tired of doing this shit. This is horrible.
Mm.
That's another thing there you see there. There.
Remember, I'm a creature of habit. I go, but you know what? It's good that you're letting me know about this because I need to look into taking care of that.
Yeah, there.
There.
How the fuck is this? What the fuck?
What's the issue?
Nothing. Just trying to do something here, and it's not working there. But Stream Elements is the same thing as PayPal, bro. Like,
I see.
wait, Geddy, what pops up when that link is pressed? PayPal, right?
Yes.
Is there an option for
Now,
card for
RP,
Geddy?
listen. Remove your card or bank from your original PayPal and create a new PayPal account, and then try it and like make it without your real name. Just do like, hey, I like Behavior Podcast or something. I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
try that.
I need Ken to help me. He knows about this shit, not me.
Ken
Bro,
is
no one's gonna
Ken-
donate anyways, bro.
Ken is in the middle of building his treehouse podcasting station. He's building it on a banana tree, provided by SC Ecuador. And Dr. Brown, did you listen to the Joe Cronin show the other day?
No, I did not. But I heard what was said last night in regards to him
I
dogging
hit that hole,
RP.
right? I hit that hole,
Yeah.
right? Well, I almost call him Bullfrog. Dr. Brown?
Yeah.
Yes.
I hit that hole, right?
Yep, you did.
Here comes Brown. Dr. Brown's team, the Detroit Red Wings pick is coming out. Number 9 pick. It's going to be interesting, Brown.
All right.
No, children, not now. Later. Beat it.
Beat it.
Oh,
I want you to beat it. Go away from me right now. I'm busy. I'm playing with my guitar. Dr. Brown, we're going to drink some blood and listen to Black Sabbath tonight. 1, 2, 3, and count our ABCs.
Mm.
1, 2, 3.
Mm.
1,
see
2,
there.
3. We're going to drink 3 cups of blood and hang upside down in our cocoons and zip it. And zip it. And we're going to do the Macarena together and
You mean the time warp?
competition.
You mean the time warp, which is regarded as the
We're
Gothic
going,
Macarena?
we're going to Dave Rose's time machine and we're going to do the Macarena. Every time
This show today was a free for all, bro.
the pick is in. Bro, it's only 7 o'clock. Why?
8 o'clock, asshole.
It is.
Oh, wait, you're an hour before, right, Texas?
Yeah, you
No.
think there's more people in your East Coast, or you think there's people in the Central Time Zone in this community? What do you think about that?
I'll be honest. From what I saw on my activity on my YouTube studio, there's a lot of people from the UK watching us.
Shout out to the UK,
Really?
everybody there.
Yeah, but most of the people from no wait, hold up. Most of the people from the UK are like doctors, bro. Like,
yeah, I don't like how they talk. It's really annoying. They
but
talk
why
like
are
they're.
most of them doctors though? Like, what's up with that?
I was gonna ask myself, isn't Russia and other countries as well, like India?
No. There's no doxing in Mother Russia. I'll tell you right now. That is not true. That is fake news, Dr. Pepper.
What? What the fuck?
There's no doxing in Mother Russia and Moscow or Siberia. There's nothing like that going on.
I know Ark just
And I'm
sent me a
telling you
couple
this-
links.
Arknolia Stroko kid is on the call right now. How you doing?
Actually, he left.
Arknolia Stroko kid, are you
Well,
going
he
to...
left the community.
No, he left the show there. We were done with our program before he joined.
He wants nothing.
Oh,
He
you
wants
were
nothing
live
to...
earlier. You were live.
He was live earlier
Yeah,
with the
we were
music
live, yes.
program, and he's not wanting the drama of it. He's not wanting the drama.
So, Dr. Brown, how do you feel about YR turning his back on you for the Music Maniacs? To be here?
I forgot he was. I already
Yeah,
went
we
over
tried
there.
to-
I already went over there and told them about.
Minnesota Queefrag.
Dr. Brown, you keep queefing all over me right now. So wait a minute. Dr. Brown, remember when you and YR drove down downtown Houston together?
Yeah.
And
Dr.
And
Brown,
you-
how does YR smell?
Basically
Smells like
normal.
tuna fish there.
Why is he?
it smells like
is-
a.
Why has not been bathing? I take it.
What?
Well, you want to get with those mills. You want to start breathing. You got to start bathing, dude.
Come on, Dr. Brown, you're embarrassing me on this call right now. Come on. The Detroit Red Wings picked Nate Danielson. Dr. Brown, the
Yeah.
Red Wings picked. You ever heard of this guy?
No, I have not.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
right, Dr. Brown. You're a liar, Dr.
No,
Dr. Brown sometimes says yes to everything.
actually, I didn't. I never heard of this dude. I haven't paid attention. I'm
Dr.
not that
Brown,
much of
who
a
you like-
sports guy myself there. So,
Dr. Brown, what?
and
Wait, now here, let me tell you something there now. This Joe Cronin guy, what do you feel about him? You think he's falling off? Do you like this Luke Rojas, or you think he's too much of a smartass? Like
I don't
Mother
know.
Russia?
I never really had a long conversation with Luke. That's about it. That's all I can really say. But I know he had a kind of resentment against me when JB's number accidentally got doxxed at one night a long while back there.
How to get doxxed?
Oh, I'm not.
How
This
to
was
get docs there?
this was on Mars Mirror's show with Nikki Nines. Somehow, I was
Dr.
told to read a
Brown-
message.
Dr. Brown put this number out and doxed the fuck out of JB.
No, I didn't.
You piece of shit. Nah, it was Nikki Nines who got all this information, but didn't really read it through, which at the end of the day shows that Nikki Nines doesn't care to read anyone's info and stuff, which is cool. It's a good thing, but it was shown on stream by accident. No one really read it through. It was just
Yeah.
Nikki Nines getting these messages about JB. They didn't think, no one thought it was, information in there. It was slipped in kind of the paragraph there. In a
It was
way.
an accident.
But yeah, it was an accident.
What's up, Shaft?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, what up, Shaft?
What up? Another wonderful day.
That's good.
Facts.
Sold any Ferraris today?
No, I don't. I don't sell Ferraris.
Did you get your job back?
He doesn't
Nah,
do that
come on,
anymore.
Dr. Brown.
Come on, man.
Come on, Brown.
I just want to see if he ever got his
I
job
just
back
want
out
to
of
stir up
concern.
the drama. I'm all
Why you
about
stirring
the
up the drama,
drama.
Dr. Brown?
Stirring
not-
it up today like a straw, like a soup, like a sick soup kitchen. You're stirring the drama. There's two things I don't like when I drink my beers: Dos Equis and
Oh, by the
Rama.
way, Chelsea, that's right. Tommy and C did meet Matt Riddle yesterday at a bar.
Really? What?
He
Really?
posted pictures and everything.
Nice.
Yeah, we know a guy. Me and Geddy know a guy that actually partied with him.
Yeah.
Apparently, Matt Riddle parties all the way hard.
Yeah, he gets around, yeah.
I was gonna ask.
Apparently, Matt Riddle's a very prideful guy.
Prideful? What do you mean by prideful?
You know what I mean.
He's a transgender?
No,
Oh.
but he likes to play in that realm of pride.
Mickey
Not
J.
pride fighting.
Mickey J openly supports Pride.
Pride fighting,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Pride US, yeah, the MMA.
Yeah, he likes. I know he likes Pride. I think he likes UFC better, but yeah, he'll watch Pride.
We need to see an interaction between Nikki J and YR. That'd be funny.
They get
What's
along.
happened?
Because YR's been talking hella shit.
Oh, get
Then
Nikki J on the
starts
call.
talking and then he shuts up.
No, but Nikki J does talk a lot about mad shit about me on his channel and stuff. So
No, he doesn't. He doesn't talk bad about you.
I've never anything positive to say.
Well, you kind of come in with a negative attitude too, so. Right.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll meet in the middle. No, I don't really. I just mean me, man. I don't hate Nikki J. You just.
No, you
I wish you
don't-
would.
You don't get along with Ryan. And
Yeah, he's surrounded by scumbags like Ryan the Heel.
Whoa.
Asshole.
Well, I wouldn't say Ryan the Heel is a scumbag.
He
but-
says asshole.
Asshole. I wouldn't say Ryan the Heel is a scumbag.
Nah, he's not a scumbag. He's cool. He's
you don't
fine.
know him.
No, he's
I
fine.
mean, you know.
This is another black man in a white man's community.
Oh
It
shit.
really is.
Damn.
I mean, anyone's welcome, but I'm just saying it's predominantly white. It's kind of weird for, you know?
It
Well,
is true.
He is a
That
big
is
wrestling.
Like, if
fan.
you went to the hood and
you don't want to
and you-
you don't want to play wrestling trivia with Ryan the Heel. I can tell
if you
that
show
right
if you went to the home dogs, the homeboys in the hood, or the essays or whatever, and you showed them any of these shows we're on, they would think it's super gay. Guarantee it. Especially
Who
wrestling.
really cares what other people think about?
I'm not saying art. Oh my God.
No, but you are saying.
What
if
am
other
I
people-
saying right
You're
now?
saying if some thugs from the Crips or the Bloods are watching this, they're gonna think it's what? Gay?
Well, no, I mean, look.
They're gonna think
ultimately,
it's take it serious.
No, all I'm
Who
saying is,
cares?
no, it's not that. It's if you're black in this community, you're not hard and you're not gangsta. That's kind of what I'm saying. You're soft and you're like a token, and you want to be a white person, trying to steal from the culture.
There is
Another
a
culture.
large group of black people that watch wrestling. There is.
Nah,
Oh yeah.
They all come
there's-
off a little weird. They all come off.
nah. Wrestling has a bigger, if not even with Hispanics and whites. I think a big Hispanic audience for wrestling. You know that, RP.
Mm-hmm.
Lucha Libre.
People don't even
yeah,
understand.
right.
People shit on Bad Bunny so much for being WWE. People don't even know how big that is. People don't even understand how huge. Like AEW can have these Japanese legends on all day, but to have that's like having Drake on wrestling and he's good, just like the Paul brother. Like he's really good too. Very
Logan
entertaining.
Paul.
Jake Paul is good. I think
Yeah.
Jake Paul stole a lot of the thunder at that past WrestleMania.
You mean
Back when
Logan
he did
Paul?
a real good.
Logan Paul, you sick
Yeah,
son of a bitch.
Whatever.
Jake Paul does boxing currently.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well, what about the
Logan.
What about the Misfits? Jerry Only wrestling in WCW a couple times.
well, yeah, so there was a few. Well, NWA is owned by what's his name from that one band?
Billy Corgan,
Uh,
Smashing
Yep.
Pumpkins.
Billy. Yep.
How do you feel about Smashing Pumpkins?
Well, I can't give my opinion on that right now. I'm watching AEW, but we can count our 1, 2, 3s together. Are you ready? Give me
Oh,
a
we got it.
one.
Uh.
Give me a two
One.
and give me
2,
a three.
3, 4.
I wanted to tell you guys about a show I went to, which probably would have been a big deal with the people that were involved in it. It was back in the early 90s, probably like 94, 95, maybe mid 90s then. But it was Candlebox and Soundgarden toured together. They were at Pine Knob. Dr. Earl, I'm sure, knows about Pine Knob.
Yes, I
Yes.
remember. Yes.
I can't. Do you remember that? There was someone. It was Soundgarden. I know it was Candlebox, and there was one other band that was
Live, the band Live.
No, I don't think it was live. But well, two of them are dead. So you know the lead singers, right?
Well,
Who's the lead singer?
which one?
The
From,
Candlebox lead singer died?
No,
well,
he's still
there was
alive.
Oh god.
So there was the one from
Stone Temple
Soundgarden,
Pilots?
right? Soundgarden's lead singer died, right?
Yes, correct. He died in Detroit while doing a gig in
Right.
like 2017.
And isn't he the one that they also say could be? He was a trafficked child. He was trafficked.
What? Are you serious?
Isn't? I gotta see the picture again. But there's someone that they claim is his father, who was involved with the what are they called?
Child
The
trafficking?
Clintons.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Clintons?
and the Clintons. It
Epstein?
was the one guy with the it was, but he's like an Epstein, but he was the one that they
Didn't he hang himself?
yeah, well that's
Cornell,
allegedly
yes.
what happened. What was his name? What was that lead singer's name again?
Chris
Maybe
Cornell.
that's his name. Chris Cornell, yeah.
Yes.
I'd have to look it up.
Right.
Let me look it up. But who they allege his father is.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I see.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, definitely do so. 'Cause
I blame Dr. Brown.
this is the first time I heard of this.
So this is kind of it's kind of a conspiracy theory. I don't know if it was Chris. Who was the other mysterious death of a lead singer not recently, maybe in the last 15 years.
There's been speculation about Kurt Cobain.
Oh yeah, no, after Cobain.
Bro, that was like 30
Aaron
years ago, Dr. Brown. What the fuck?
Aaron Carter.
Aaron Carter.
There you go. Yeah.
No, that's not it.
Chester Bennington.
Chester Bennington.
Yeah,
that's
from
the one
Linkin
I'm
Park.
thinking of.
Whoa, Dr. Al knows.
Chester Bennington. Yeah, that's the guy. Not this one.
I see.
Now we're really gonna get doxxed.
And Chester Bennington's father, alleged father.
Bro, YouTube is gonna take us down.
Oh my.
Oh,
Whenever you mention that name, things happen.
John
What?
Podesta.
Really? That's his name?
Yeah, that's the guy's name, and he was involved with the Clintons. American political consultant who served as senior advisor to President for clean energy. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff connecting him to Chester Bennington as his father, which the age is appropriate. So this guy.
Shaft, did you see that the pick that the Red Wings got?
No, I didn't see.
He's pretty good. I think y'all had the 9th pick.
Who'd they get?
I forgot his name. Some.
Oh, sounds like a good talent.
I thought you were watching it, my friend.
No, I was working.
Dr. Brown, did you go to the castle this weekend?
Last weekend I did.
Did you go to the City Club, Dr. Earl?
Not since
You
I
like
left
the-
Detroit.
What did you like better, the Castle or City Club?
Well, compared to how the City Club is today, I would prefer the Castle because, back then the City Club was booming. But somehow, for some reason, the new metal kids got involved, and then everything started turning which way. In fact, a lot of people I spoke to on the group page there on Facebook mentioned that ever since Izzy died, and you remember Izzy, Shep, don't you?
What?
Izzy Reels. You remember him as Shaft by chance?
Is he Pop?
No, he was a City Club
No.
regular.
No.
You may remember he had that. He was that Latino kid, short guy who wore a top hat a
really?
lot of times. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, he ended his life in 1997 over love issues with his girlfriend and the death of his best friend.
Do you remember a little bouncer, black guy with a mohawk, and they called him Pitbull? That was around the club scenes.
Not that
He was like
much.
he was. I'd say short. He was probably like about 5'6", 5'7", but he was like a little tank of muscle.
Like before he was like a singer and famous, Pitbull?
No, that's a rapper. He was
This was a
Cuban. The rapper was
No,
Cuban,
he
if I
said
understand.
he said his Pitbull.
yeah. This guy was. He was a local guy that bounced in a lot of the local clubs.
Yeah,
He knew Pitbull?
Yeah, no, that he went by Pitbull.
that was his
So
nickname.
if you were in the club scene, and how old are you, Dr. Earl? Because I'm 49.
50,
I'll be 50.
50.
He's 67.
I'm 57.
He's
Jesus
70.
Christ.
He's 87 years old.
You guys are all old.
Yeah, so you have a little more. You were a little after.
No,
that.
Dr. Brown, the 50s is like the new 40s. You know
Yeah.
what
No,
I'm
it's
saying?
not, nigga. No, it's not.
It is.
Geddy, how old
really
are you?
is.
22?
Who?
24.
Geddy?
Mm.
Geddy's
24?
24 years old.
There's different people in the community that have they're mature for their age, and I see a lot of that over at the Nicky J scene. Like Geddy's very, very mature for his age.
Oh, there's
I
fucking
think.
2.5 people watching over there. What do you mean, people over there?
I'm talking in the Discord when we're 'cause
Fucking
there's usually-
asshole.
There's,
No,
usually,
no.
there's usually 4
Ah,
or 5
damn.
of us are up to.
Is it the same? Some of the same people that? Because I'll be honest, I know I shit on them all the time, but the Garguts people that play the guitar over there, those are pretty cool guys. I don't know if they intermingle with Nicky J or the same Discord.
Well, yeah, like Downfall and Alex.
Yeah.
Both
Yeah.
play guitar very, very well. And yeah, they haven't been around lately, but
I should probably jam with those guys sometime soon.
Them two might have some better skills than you, Dr. Earl. I'm not even gonna lie. These two can.
You sound
two of
so
them
gay,
that
Dr.
can-
Brown.
That can play some guitar. Downfall's really good, and I think he's self-taught.
But one of the
I think
guys
that-
over there, I think he's like bald with glasses, but I think he wears a beanie. But he has a Judas Priest signature guitar. Badass. Epiphone. Fine V.
Man, where are the girls, bro?
And
Where
then
are
there
the
was
bitches? Where are the
there's one
girls?
guy that comes over. He hasn't been around. Fierce hasn't been around in a while, but he came and dropped in. But he'll spin some fucking crazy shit.
Yeah, those motherfuckers, all their backgrounds is like a racks of guitars, bro.
Yeah, these guys they play some music.
And RP, man, the girls, man, they,
Where are the girls?
Oh, let's
You
get
gotta
some
go to
on the
the bar.
call.
I don't know what we can talk about. We can talk about
Let's get
Dr.
Cora.
Brown and
Cora, is she available?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not really feeling. Yeah, this is Cora. I'm not really feeling what's going on over here. I'm not vibing with what's going on, and
You
I'm
will
not really
be.
comfortable.
You will be
Not
after the
comfortable
end of
with.
this call.
I'm not comfortable with
Cora.
you, Dr. Brown. I'm not really comfortable with you talking about, music and stuff. It's making me really uncomfortable, and
We'll make you comfortable before the night's end.
I'm not really vibing that you're
You
like,
will be vibing. You will
you're
be.
against the Democrats and you're against the Liberal Party, because we're just trying to make people understand that the LGBTQ methods is just the way of life, Dr. Brown, and you need to listen to the LGBTQ and be in the moment with us, and you will be forced to abide by the LGBTQ rules.
I'll be.
Dr. Brown.
Excuse me. Listen, Rainbow bitch.
Excuse me, you.
Bend over and I will.
Whoa.
Dr. Brown, what the hell?
Damn, hey.
Dr. Brown.
Don't
you
say
go
don't
to
fight
the-
back, guys. Keep that in
Dr.
mind.
Brown gets the poontang. He gets the poontang. He hits it from the back. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, one of them is Cora's sister.
Dr. Brown likes to put it in the girl's butthole and just fuck it really hard, Dr. Brown. That's why you call him Dr. Brown, you know what I'm saying? He likes to fuck the ass, the anal sex. Little coconut oil massage, huh? Yo, the Arizona Coyotes are getting multiple picks, bro. It's crazy. Multiple draft picks.
I think that draft,
And they're gonna-
that draft was kind of irrelevant.
It is, but so was the award show last night. But the Arizona Coyotes may move to Houston, either them or Kansas City, is the rumors. But what do you think, Dr. Brown? What do you think?
Team?
No, I'm gonna stick with the Star. If Houston got a hockey team, I couldn't move. I have to stick with the Stars, bro.
At this point.
And that's fucked up because I always said I would never, I'll respect teams, but I'm never just gonna flop. Like RP used to be a Lakers fan. Now he's a Golden State Warriors fan. But then a couple years ago, RP was a Brooklyn Nets fan.
No, I wasn't.
I don't fan out on sports. I watch sports with a realist point of view, and that's from being in Detroit and having the Lions, especially. You can't get excited about a team, So.
Well, they never win. They never win anything.
Yeah,
I remember
true, yeah.
Dr. Brown in 1975 used to see the Lions games for 50 cents a ticket. The tickets were 50 cents for a box seat back then.
My dad used to tell stories about taking the bus from the east side and going over to Tiger Stadium where they used to play in the 50s and watching them for a quarter. Sitting up in the bleachers.
Dr. Brown's never smoked a cigarette?
Never. Never.
What about weed?
Never.
What about weed?
Never. Never.
Yeah, I would think never. Weedy, too. Or were you the one that got scared by the DARE program?
No.
Oh, okay. If you remember that. You might be a little...
You remember that DARE program, Dr. Brown? Or
I remember, you know what? I don't think we ever had any officers come into the classrooms of our high school. We never had that.
That's what it came out when I was in
the 80s.
Second grade. Yeah.
Dr. Brown, were you a straight A student?
No.
Yeah, I was when DARE came to mind. I was in it was fifth grade. It was fifth grade when you put on the glasses, the drunk glasses. They made you put them on, and
YR, were you a troll in the class?
I was a class clown. Yes.
Well, what was funny for me when I started, my parents both were pot smokers, so I was exposed to it at a young age. So, it freaked me out at first in, second grade, third grade learning about it, but then it became cool once you were 16, 17 years old.
I can't even say I knew about weed in elementary.
I knew the difference between pot smoke and cigarette smoke at the age of 5. I just didn't know what it was until I was, until the DARE program, and I figured it out. Because they wanted you to turn in your parents if your parents smoked. That's exactly what those cops wanted you to do back then.
Damn.
Oh yeah, that's exactly.
That's something there.
What? In what years though?
This
in the
was
80s.
In the early 80s. I
Yeah,
did the
80s.
program in probably 84, 83, 84. I did the
Like
program.
weed was looked at like
cocaine.
Bad thing. Because of the theory that all drug users start out with marijuana. And they get tired of that and they go on to other things.
That was the stepping stone. Which isn't true. At all.
But again, you know how these parents are when it came to certain things that were not family valued. Remember the satanic panic?
My parents were kind of hippies, so my dad was anyway. My mom not so much.
Well, my parents were anything but.
Yeah, your parents were probably a little older than mine.
They were.
I would guess.
Yep.
Because my parents had us young, so. And then died young.
Dr. Brown, how did you manage to? I don't know if you had, because you don't smoke, you don't have an alcohol problem or anything. How did you manage to cope, or what did you do to get through the grief of your parents passing away when that happened? Do you remember that?
Well, when my dad passed away, I remember we got home from the hospital. One of the first things I picked up was my guitar and I strummed it to the chords to a song by King Crimson called Islands. And I played that for a while there, but I put it down. I started crying once again because that was like a big shock to my system. And when I found out my mom passed away, in 2006, I just, I was coming off from work when I found out. My sister informed me, and I just rode my bike somewhere and just sat and stared at the sky and thought about things.
Was it quick for both of your parents, or was it something that was ongoing?
Well, for my dad, it just was out of the blue. He'd been dealing with rheumatoid arthritis for 12 years. He was bedridden as a result. He was all skin and bones, unable to move because his joints had just frozen up solid. And I was giving him what they call Insure. I was going to lay him down to go to take a nap, and he just right before my own eyes.
Oh, right in front of you too?
Yep, absolutely.
Wow.
And when my mom, she was full-blown demented.
Oh, she had dementia?
Yes, it was getting worse towards after his death. About a year later afterwards, and it was really getting worse.
How old were your parents? How old were your parents when they passed?
Well, my mom was about in her mid-70s, and my dad was exactly 70 years old when he passed. Dad, me, and my sister when they were in their 40s.
They had you a little older.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Were you the baby?
No, my sister was.
Oh, okay.
Jacob RP, what about you?
Unfortunately, my father died in his 40s. The story is that he got ran over by a truck.
Ooh, sorry to hear that, man. Wow.
Really?
He bled out, so you guys were lucky to see your parents at an older age. I wasn't so lucky. He was my best friend too, so it's hard losing a parent like that.
But how did you? The moral of the question is, how did you
cope?
Manage to, just still keep on living your life and not giving up.
Yeah, so the thing is, he lived his life in Colombia most of his life. I lived here in America, and I actually found out through Facebook, through some family members, that he passed away 2 years after the fact.
Oh, so nobody to let you know.
He was already into ashes by the time I found out. So I couldn't really have a grievance.
And you were how old?
I still haven't really cried about him, really, because I mean, this happened in 2010. My dad died.
Dang.
I found out in 2012 when I was 18. In 2012.
You're in the community yet, or no?
No, 2012, no. I actually went to Colombia to visit his grave. I sort of forced the tears out when I was on top of his grave because I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. Oh, I got a new Tinder match.
What?
Yeah, I still haven't fully.
What?
I still haven't fully grieved his death because I wasn't there. I wasn't.
But were you close with him? I mean.
Oh yeah, of course. Up
Okay.
until the age of 11, he was my best friend. We lived together in Colombia.
Oh, you were in Colombia.
Yeah, when I was younger, I lived in Colombia, and then I moved back to America when I was 11, and ever since.
Did you come over illegally, or did you?
Well, he would have been a citizen if he was.
Well, I was born
so-
here. I was born here, but I
He's
visited Colombia frequently because my dad actually got deported for getting into a fight at a bar. He had no papers. He got deported. And I'm assuming the rules in the 90s were different from now in America. That you get deported easily.
No, the rules are probably the same. It's just how they enforce them.
Yeah. So that one bar fight just changed everything for us, and he ended up back in Colombia. I had to go back and forth visiting him in Colombia in jail. I had to sacrifice a year in school because I forgot fucking English for a whole year.
What?
I missed the entire fucking thing. You know, like you spend a lot of time as a kid in Colombia speaking Spanish, you tend to forget some things.
And then
he grows on
that's the reason, and that's the reason why you graduated late.
Yeah, I graduated
Makes sense.
in. I want to say 19.
So they kept
But I
you-
didn't graduate high school. I got kicked out of high school. I got my GED actually. So.
Oh, you went back and got your GED. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's
At least
good.
I have that. You know?
That's good to hear.
But luckily, I still have my mother. Luckily, she's kind of like the spotlight.
Rock.
Like she's the best.
The rock of your family.
But it is hard to lose a parent.
Extreme Shaft, what about you?
Lost my father. It's been 11 years. He passed away at 62
Dang.
from glioblastoma, which is a primary brain cancer.
Wow.
So he fought it for 2.5 years. And actually Ted Kennedy had the same kind of cancer my father had, and also the baseball player Steve Garvey was another one that had the same type. Yeah, it's a death sentence once you get it. It's real aggressive. And then in 2015, my mother was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. My mother was a nurse, an RN, so she knew how bad it was, and she decided to not do treatment and just go right on to hospice and allow herself to die. She was diagnosed in June, and she was gone in September of 15. Yeah, and she was 66. So I kind of myself, I think that's young, but hearing other people and losing their parents in their 40s.
How did you get through it? Like for the next months or years, how did you cope with it?
I still grieve my parents. I grieve it every day, and especially not that I was very close with my dad, but like RP, in my 30s, me and him became like best friends. The 20s were great because he was working and stuff, and my dad was a partier. He was married 5 times and died at 62. So his last wife was 6 months older than my older brother. So he got around and had a good time. And we used to, in my early 20s when I was going to the bars, we would often run into my dad at the bars.
Wow.
So that was always fun. But we became good. You know, he was definitely my best guy friend for sure. When through my 30s and into he died when I was 38. So, but yeah, so my 30s, late 20s, we became good friends.
That's good.
And my mom was my rock, dude. And my mom, I was her baby. She's Italian, from the Bronx, so she had that New York mentality. And
the New York mind frame, you know what I'm saying?
And that, my mother was very witty. and very, she did very well for herself, and she knew her sons didn't need her anymore, and that's kind of why she um, chose not to do treatment. I feel so.
Oh, wow.
It's and then, it's one thing to just go through it and beat yourself up with chemotherapy, because you destroy your body with chemo, and
That's
but
true.
to make the choice of not doing anything about it and just allowing let nature take its course. She planned her own funeral, took care of everything, paid for everything. Me and my brother didn't have to pay for nothing but opening the ground for her coffin and paying
To
for
be
the
laid
lake.
to rest.
Yep.
All right, so my turn.
Yeah.
Now this was, and I've told the story a bunch, but stepmom, right? Multiple cancers, radiations, chemos, multiple times. And then around that, I was 15, 16, right? 10th grade. She got the cancer back, ended up passing. But I wasn't, it seems to me, besides RP, Brown and Shaft were older adults when their parents passed. And obviously this wasn't just like a regular, because you say stepmom or whatever, that could just be anyone, but I lived with her, and she mothered me, helped me through school and everything, so it wasn't just someone my father married, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Technically it wasn't blood mother or parent, but still, and I still, it's not and that's when I picked up the cannabis, around that same time, as a coping mechanism. Obviously, experimented with, hallucinogenics, psychedelics for a few years. But nothing else, nothing hard, nothing like, crack or meth or heroin, nothing like that. No pills, not a real big, I'm not a big downer or like, I'm not just, it's all that shit's weird to me. You know what I mean? Like, even online RP, like the Tinders and stuff, a lot of them chicks like smoke meth and shit, bro. And some of them, obviously, obviously it shows, but some of them you see and it's not necessarily, you might not know. I've heard stories that like people find out the chicks on meth and stuff, and they didn't even look like they would be doing something like that. So, it's definitely weird, but at the time, what I'm saying, it does suck, and you do eventually move past it. You might not grieve as much when something like that happens, but
you still think about
does. It definitely does change your life for sure.
Yeah. Can I say this? I think since no one has a drink in their hand just yet, I think we should raise our right hands and put out the Samoan "I love you" sign for all our parents who have passed on.
What is the Samoan sign?
The
Like
Samoan,
this.
it's like this. It's like the devil horns, but instead of the thumb being up front, it's up like this. Jimmy Superfly Snuka used to do it a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I gotcha.
It's Samoan for "I love you." And I think we should do that for all our parents who have passed on, in respect and honor to them. Can we do that, guys?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. In fact, I will put on my camera right now to do it. Let me do so.
Geddy Lee,
All right.
What up?
have you have any parents that passed or close
No,
deaths? Have you
no,
have you experienced death? Basically.
I've already died.
Oh gosh, dude.
Okay.
You know, this is probably one of the hardest things we've ever talked about.
I mean,
Big's up
I
to
don't mind.
us, so.
I don't mind talking about my parents. They're good people.
Well, not necessarily the point I was trying to make, not necessarily the parents, but just the way you coped through that major loss, major event to change your life. Like, how did you know what I'm saying? How did we each?
You just take it day by day. That's all I did. You know, I was a motherfucker when my mom was dying.
But did you get into like drinking and stuff? Did you drink a
No,
lot?
I threw people out of the house and stuff like that.
Because
I was in charge of her, you know, health and well-being. So, and yeah, I was a complete, utter asshole to a lot of people because I was trying to protect my mother. So
that's understandable,
and
man.
A lot of people got it. They understood because they have been through it. So
Detroit has multiple picks in this round. Number 17 pick, Detroit.
It's good to hear.
I don't know. The Flames are next. I haven't seen the Stars pick anyone in this round yet. I think the better teams are way at the end, if they have any at all. But this is it's interesting they did do this award ceremony yesterday for this draft. And kind of bringing in hockey a little bit more You know what I'm saying?
You like Barack Obama?
Oh. The random picture, right? Yo, did you listen to that Joe Biden speech today?
No.
Oh my God, it's horrible.
He's horrible. How can anyone listen to him?
Oh, it's pretty embarrassing.
Let alone deal with him.
Dr. DeBrown left the building.
No, I'm still here.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop out of here.
All right, brother. Peace out.
All right.
I'll be watching.
All right, have a good one.
Yeah, it's a long day.
All right, I'm going to exit as well. I got things to take care of. I'll see you guys later on. Bye-bye.
Well, getting this party started, Jacob RP.
All right, that should be it. Okay, on behalf of myself, RP, YR, Stream Shaft, Arknolia, and Geddy Lee's Owl Nose. We'll see you tomorrow night for Movie Madness as we look at all the comedy movies from past, present, and future. Hey guys, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening. I'm going to go bike riding.